Hello, it is Mulala for another Squishy Makeovers video. So the three squishies I'm going to be doing today are on the screen right now. So the first one is this slice of bread squishy. The next one that I'm going to be doing is this emoji, and in this clip I just cannot stop squishing it. I don't know why I felt the need to squish it 10 times. And the next one you actually saw in the thumbnail and very beginning of this video. It's just this little muffin. So the first one that I started off doing was the piece of bread. I actually hated how this one looked at the beginning and at the end. I think both the beginning and end result of this look equally as terrible. First, I removed the face. And this looks terrifying. And as I said earlier, I hated how this one ended up turning out. So I hate voice-overing this because I have to watch what I was doing and everything is wrong with it. I just really despise it. So I started off just drawing some dotted lines to make a rectangle shape on the bread. And wowee, look at that, I did it. So now I'm taking some very childish safety scissors and very slowly cutting off the edges of the bread. This literally took ages. I have to speed it up. And it came out really uneven, so then I just started making random cuts pretending that I knew what I was doing, but I really didn't. So yeah, this bread is just, it's terrible. The next two that are coming, I'm actually a lot more proud of. Then, with some very, very light gray paint, I started painting the front of the, well, it used to be bread. And I put a very thin layer of this on top. Okay, so this one I'm actually really excited about. I really like the original design of this. I actually bought this from eBay. The drizzle is falling off and it doesn't look that great. The colors are fine, but they could be better. The first thing I did to this poor muffin is I peeled off its drizzle. This drizzle was a bit harder to take off, I think, because it was just put on a bit thicker. Then I used kind of a disgusting color to just fill in the scarring of where I took that drizzle off. This was originally going to be the muffin color, but then I figured it looked way too gray. I feel like even if I built it up, it would have looked really gray. So I changed the color later, but this actually worked well because it filled in all the spaces so that I could get a smooth top for the muffin. The next one that I did was this emoji, and it's kind of hard to be creative with this sort of shape because you can make it some sort of pastry, but I wanted to do something a bit different, so I tried to make it into an animal. I think it worked pretty well in the end, but this one is a pretty nice squishy to start off with. It was pretty fun to play with, and that's why I cannot stop squishing it in this clip. So the first thing that I did was I squeezed a bunch of black paint onto this, and I just covered the entire thing with the black paint I squeezed on top. So the toast dried pretty fast, so I just put another coat of the gray paint on top. Once again, another thin layer. I decided to do a lot of thin layers in this video and build it up. And here's me making the new brown color for the top of the muffin. I mixed some yellow, red, blue, and white paint to try and make a kind of a chocolatey color. Then I just put this brown color on the top of the muffin. I wasn't too worried about covering the very top of the muffin just because that was where I was going to put the icing anyways, and it wouldn't have mattered if that part was missing some brown. Here I just did the second coat of the black paint. And then here I am doing the third coat of the gray on top of the bread. And a second coat on the top of the muffin. So I'm actually going to be turning this emoji into a little penguin, and in this clip I'm showing how I made the face and the belly. So I started by drawing the outline of the belly in white, then I did a cute little beak in orange, and then I got white again and did the eyes, just 2 little dots. Then I filled in the belly with the white paint. So the next step was for the muffin, and I just started doing the icing on top of the muffin. I put some white tulip slick paint on top, and first I did the outline. I did kind of like a bumpy circle so that the icing looked not perfect, kind of like it was dripping down the sides. Then I filled in the circle loosely with some white paint. I tried to make it look cool when I was filling it in, and then I just gave up, so that's why there are little swizzles. Then I grabbed a lollipop stick and I smoothed that out. So I saw Mariah Elizabeth use sprinkles a lot in her squishy makeovers, and I wanted to try it out. So what I did is I made these out of some oven baked clay. I made it out of Sculpey clay, and I know it looks like I'm just putting on pink and purple in the beginning when I was putting them on top of the cupcake or muffin, and then I just kind of randomly sprinkled them on, and that's why the sprinkles are kind of in various areas. They're just not very even, but I'm okay with that. I think they came out looking really super cool. And oh great, we're back to this one again. On the outside of the gray, I just started doing a thin line, and then I just kind of tried to smooth it out, and then it didn't work. So I don't know, I don't want to watch this. And I just did some more outlines along the side. And then I did a really stupid thing, and I just dumped a whole bucket load of blue paint onto the side. I thought it would make it easier to like cover up the air bubbles in the side of the foam, but instead it just came out really lumpy when it dried because I didn't have any attempt to smooth it out with like a lollipop stick at all. Instead I just left it like chunky and gross. So that's why this one doesn't look that good. I think it's just because the way I put it on the sides was super lumpy. I think if I took more time with the sides it would have looked better. And then here I'm mixing up some really light blue paint. I put a few drops of blue paint in there, and then I put a lot of white paint, and then I stirred that up. And then I put this paint on the bottom wrapper of the cupcake, and I put a really thin layer of this. Then once that had dried, I put a lot thicker second coat on the muffin wrapper. And then I put some blue paint on the back. Then I started putting some details on it to make it kind of look like a phone. And I think here's when I also messed up, because that green thing that is currently being painted on the screen, on top of that goes a white piece, and it was supposed to look like a phone, but it just ended up looking really terrible. So I think here is also where I went wrong. Then underneath that little trying to be a phone symbol, I put the first like 3 digits of some random phone number, I don't know. But I think this is also where I messed up. It just doesn't look good. This one should just, no, it's bad. Ta-da! These are the 3 squishies that I ended up making, and obviously some are better than others. The penguin I think came out really, really nicely. It's just a really fat blob penguin, and I just think that's really cute. Its little face is adorable. It ended up being really fun to play with, so I think this one ended up being really cute. And next we have the worst one. This one got some paper stuck on it because when I put it down to dry, I put it on a brown piece of paper and it wasn't fully dry apparently, so it just peeled up that paper. It has fingerprints on it from when I tested if it was dry. It's lumpy. It's not that fun to play with. This one is just not good. It just doesn't look good at all. And then this one is my favorite of the group. It is my pastel inspired cupcake, and this one ended up with really amazing colors, and I feel like just the look of it is so much nicer. And also it became a lot more slow rising somehow throughout this process of painting it. I don't mind it. I think it came out pretty nicely, but there's also air trapped in it, so I think that's why. And I think the sprinkles are a really, really super nice touch to this. This one will be on my Etsy along with the penguin. The phone I'm just gonna throw away, it's just terrible. And my Etsy now ships internationally, so if you live anywhere outside of the US, I can ship to you. As always, I had lots of fun making this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and there will probably be more videos like this in the future because I have a lot of sprinkles left. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!